such an asshole.
Oh, so one of the old friends of the show, blog, podcast, whatever you want to call it, he paid for some originals. You could pay for originals. You know, if you like, I don't have a question, but I want to know what Cappy. I have to do the paid request first. But sometimes if someone pays me, I can like, oh, original, you paid me, so that goes to the front of the line. Because well, you got to be ethical. If they pay you, you got to answer the question. So this guy did, and it's just a real quick observation I had. But one of those things, looking at with old, beleaguered, weary, older man eyes, as old as Rollo? No, nothing's as old as that. But, you know, almost. And I was doing some research. I'm glad I saved the link. This is from CoachMelanie.com, and she's a female dating coach. And this article was how to talk to girls, keep a conversation going. All right. I'm going to read a little bit, probably all of it, very quickly. Then I'm going to ask you some questions. All right. All right. Wondering how to talk to a girl and never run out of things to say. These are the tips you need. Knowing how to make small talk, how to keep a conversation going with a girl, and how to keep talking to a girl. All the skills that help you know how to attract women. You need to know how to talk to women if you want to get them to like you. Thankfully, it's really simple once you have the right skills. Ready to be good at talking to girls? Let's get started then with how to talk to girls and keep a conversation going. Hello, my wonderful friend. Let's talk about how to talk to girls, keep a conversation going, never running out of things to say. Have you ever been talking to a really gorgeous gal and all of a sudden you had no idea what to say? Or have you ever really wanted to talk to someone, but you were afraid that you wouldn't know what to say? It's an awkward situation and it's very uncomfortable, as I'm sure you know. Don't worry, I've got your back. Are women going to start talking in equal amounts? Oh, I guess not. These tips are simple but insanely powerful. They're going to help you get from that awkward situation to instead knowing how to attract her and have a lot of fun when you talk to gorgeous women. Oh, okay, good. I wanted to, what about the ugly ones? I have 6 powerful tips for you, but the one that might be the most important is the last tip. So make sure you watch to the end. Make sure girls is easy, fun, and increases their attraction to you. Now, before you dive in, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. My name is Melanie. I'm a Christian dating coach for men. Okay, I'm going to skip over that. All right, how to keep the conversation going. Tip 1, it's a skill. Now, the first thing you need to know it's critical to shift your mindset. Pay attention now, okay? Here's what I'm talking about. You must start thinking of talking to girls as a skill. It's easy to see other guys who are really good at talking to girls that think they were just born that way or they were just talented and I'm not. The truth is everybody has different talents. So some people are naturally better at things. But at the end of the day, everyone has to learn a certain amount of skill. So you can start you can start looking at talking to girls as a skill instead of a special gift when you can guarantee you are going to be successful at this. If you go into thinking that you're not going to be good at it and it's just going to be awkward, you're going to fail every time. Just like playing guitar, driving a car, career. By the way, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with anything being said here. It all comes down to skill. If you can't shift your mindset to, hey, this is just a skill and I can totally learn it, you are going to be successful. Keep in mind as we go through the rest of the tips, because the rest of the tips really are just skills that you can learn that will make you incredibly good at talking to women. Tip number 2, don't be too flirty. Now, this leads to my second tip about how to talk to girls, and that is to make sure you're not too flirty. There's nothing wrong with flirting. Matter of fact, I'm a big fan of flirting. I did this video on how to flirt with girls. Make sure you check it out. Flirting is important, and it's fun. Besides, a mistake I see a lot of men make is they put too much focus on flirting. They really want to attract her, or they really want to impress her, so all they do is flirt. And what that does is it comes across as insincere and not authentic. That's not what you want. You want there to be some playful flirting, but if it's a constant flirting, over the top flirting, it becomes across as creepy and she feels awkward. Are you guys starting to see what I'm angling at here? I went wookie, 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 wiped it off. I moved. I'm looking at it from the flank. I'm like, that's different. At the end of the day, she really just wants to get to know who you are with a little bit of flirtation instead of constant flirtation, having no idea who you are. So make sure you do not overdo the flirting. Take the pressure off yourself. This is 2 people talking, getting to know each other and seeing if they have anything in common. Focus on getting to know her, chatting her, and making her feel comfortable. That will dramatically increase your attraction. And if you want to throw a little flirtation with it, you're golden. Tip 3, focus on asking questions. I don't know what a conversation was. Now, my next tip on how to talk to girls is to focus on asking questions, not on talking about yourself. Well, that would require you girls to ask questions. It's pretty easy when you're nervous to just kind of talk about ourselves because we're an authority on ourselves and it's something we can talk about easily, right? But if all you do is talk about yourself, it's a one-sided conversation. It tends to make you feel more nervous. Remember that the whole goal here is for her to feel comfortable with you. You would say, I went on my flank. You see, it looks a little different from this angle. For her to feel important and for her to feel connected and attracted to you. I've said it a million times before, but I'm going to say it again because it's so important. People like people who make them feel good. It's as simple as that. So when you ask her questions and you really communicate with her and connect with her, she's going to feel really good when she's around you. She's going to feel comfortable with you. When people ask us questions about ourselves, it's something we are an authority on. So if you're asking her questions about her, she feels important to you. She feels interested to you. Interesting to you, and she feels relaxed. Asking her questions and the basics of small talks are absolutely key in talking, knowing how to talk to girls easily and naturally and keep the conversation going. It's not about mind games or following a certain script. That's not authentic. It doesn't let you be you. That is about being told. This is about being totally and completely you and just having those basic small talk skills. Now, I could go in depth in my program on the basics of small talk and the questions, no matter what you're doing. This way, it feels very natural. And so you stay very true to who you are instead of pretending or feeling like you have to follow a script. I'm glad these are 6 simple tips. If you haven't checked out my program, boo, 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 and I have no problem with you promoting your courses, dear. None whatsoever. Tip 4, don't ask personal or awkward questions. Now, my next tip on how to talk to girls and how to keep the conversation going is to make you don't ask questions that are too personal or that are awkward. This is an easy mistake to make, which is why I take so much time in my program to teach you how to ask the questions the right way. You have to ask the right questions and the right way. Especially if you do not know her very well, you don't want your questions to be too intense. That will scare her away and creep her out. Asking the right kinds of questions, literally the difference between really attracting her and convincing her that you're a weirdo. Therefore, you must keep things light, fun, and playful. Quick question before we get to our next tip. Are you enjoying this video? Talk to girl honestly. And she promotes across the right. Tips 5, practice confident body language. How many balls up in the air, Cappy? 20. Don't drop one. You might get her out of there. You might get slightly upset. My next tip might surprise you. It is to practice confident body language. When you have confident body language, it increases her attraction for you because confident body language is masculine, super attractive. Also, it makes her feel calmer, safer, and makes you feel less nervous and more confident. As a matter of fact, because thinking about body language, one more thing to worry about is going to make me more relaxed. It's one of the most powerful tools you can learn. This is why I teach in my program. Why? So the biggest thing my clients tell me that they see results. And if your body language is nervous and awkward, that's how she's going to see you. That's how you're going to feel. It's going to tank. But if instead you're confident and masculine, you feel amazing, she sees you as amazing. It goes by. Tip 6, have a game plan that works. Now, my next tip on how to talk to girls is pretty critical. So pay close attention. Make sure you have a game plan. Go back home. Draw a diagram with the X's and the zeros with lines and arrows. But don't have anything scripted. Make sure you have a game plan, have an idea of what you're going to say before you're in the situation. It's normal when we're standing in front of someone we really think is attractive for our minds to go blank. Have you been there? It's terrible, but you could avoid that if you have a game plan that works. If you know what you're going to say and you have questions in mind, the go-to list you always fall back on with you just said not to have a script. Then it's automatic. That way, even if you can't think straight, it's automatic and it's natural. Now you can be a little flirtatious and attractive, impress her instead of having those awkward pauses and having no idea what to say. The best way to have a game plan is make sure it is automatic to have your basics down, have the basics of small talk down. This is again why I teach program. Okay. Guys, I know from a objective perspective, like, got to get, well, what do I got to do? Papa and strategy, men very solution oriented. I just read through this and there were a couple other places where I'm like reading, I'm listening. I just step back and I'm old. And I think maybe that's what it is. I'm old. I'm like, are you kidding me, lady? Are you kidding me? That's too much. I'm too tired. And not only am I too old, too tired, and all that, and it's too much for me, it's too much for any guy. And that was the observation where I'm like, holy cow, wait a minute. All these things the guy's got to get. Don't be asked too personal, but you better ask somebody in Florida, but not too much. And I'm like, no one can do it. No one can do it. And when I looked at it, what I realized is that these expectations that women have of men to approach you and ask you out, be traditional, ignoring the whole 50 years of intersexual dynamics, you have got to be so perfectly fine-tuned, so perfectly, I don't want to say scripted, but sculpted, and just the stars have to so perfectly align that it's all luck. It's all luck. Now, certainly some things are correct there. You don't want I get it. And I do agree that there's practice and failure and all that. But there was this one and another one where it's like, well, you got to make her feel, have you heard one thing about, like, I'd like to see the female quote, hey, guys are going to be nerdy and awkward, a little bit shy, a little bit uneasy. Do what you can to make it, maybe ask them a question. And I have years of empirical experience where you're sitting there and raise your hand or put a 1 in the comment section where you're doing the talking and just pulling teeth to get this girl to converse. I guess more modernly it'd be digitally, I guess. Hey, what's up? How was your day? Fine. Are you going to do anything fun this weekend? Not really. Meanwhile, you're supposed to juggle 40 balls in the air, and you should approach with your left and have your questions ready. Now, make sure they're sculpted and phrased the right way. You don't want to get a little bit too uncomfortable, but you still want to flirt a little bit, not too much flirt. No, this is irrational, and it shows you just how far. Like beforehand, it was like, hey, how you doing? And a girl would be, oh my God, hi. This is in the olden days. Girls would be bashful and giggle a little bit. Now it's like you're like this little Dungeons and Dragons character, and you got to go across the bridge with the swinging axes and fire jumping up, and there's a dragon at the end, and there's gremlins throwing arrows at you. No. No. It's irrational. It's delusional. It's almost impossible. And it would be, I mean, and probably Troy Francis has an opinion on this, no doubt. But with my relative seasoned experience, you cannot be following these girls' dating advice. You just can't. It's nothing against female dating coaches, but the premise they're operating from is we are the prize, which they are, which sexual dynamics being what they are. Yes, they are. And here's what you got to do. And it's like, okay, but do you have any responsibility to ask a guy a question about himself? Do you step back and look at this list and say, well, boy, it's always like, here she is, you do all the work, and then she either gives you the thumb up or the thumb down like some kind of Roman emperor. You do all the battling in the gladiator field in the Colosseum. You fight off the lions. All right. And then she'll just sit there eating her grapes. I am unentertained. And I'm thinking, like, maybe I don't walk across that bridge with the swinging axes and the gremlins and the fire and the dragon. Maybe I don't go to Colosseum and fight lions and other gladiators and elephants, whatever everybody else got in there. Maybe it's just like, nah, hey, how you doing? That's nice. You want to go out sometime? No, okay, bye. And that's it. That's it. Because it was this one, and there was another one where you got to get into this one went way wooey, why woo. Well, you got to make her comfortable. Anything else? Your worship? Anything else, your royal highness? Perhaps I could, when we could have a drink and not like, oh my God, I don't know if I can get someone, booze just killed this bug that was up their ass. And so I just wanted to point that out. Look, guys, female dating, I haven't like consumed a ton of their information. As a matter of fact, this is all it is. But if this is what they're telling you, it's like, here's it's not even a P51. P51 was simple enough. They give you this They drop you in the cockpit of a plane and say, you got to do these 47 things. Okay, launch out and take out the Germans. Bye. You can't even get the plane off the ground. And when and God, heaven help, because I remember I was being like, oh, I got to do it, but I also have to, oh, geez, what? No, better idea. Free consulting from assholeconsulting.com. Hey, you single? You want to go out? Yeah, here's my number. Let's go out sometime. You get a coffee? That's it. And here's the other thing. You're talking to a girl, right? And you're trying to get her to converse. If she's not asking you questions back, you leave. You leave. Forget equality. Forget the argument for equality. Like, well, you're equal now. You should do this. How about just being polite? You know, like, hey, I mean, this is a lot of times when you're on the date, she agreed to go on a date with you and she just sits there like a lump. Like, hey, well, what he did? Oh, how about that? Oh, well, da 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 da. Oh, like, okay. And you got my express permission to get up and leave the date. You do. Because this is delusional. This is not possible in the real world. Might happen once in a blue moon. You might be lucky, might be on your game, but this is not, no. This is, you girls have, it's not that you have delusional expectations. It's the press like, oh, well, I feel it and I feel that. It's like you really need to be sympathetic. Is that the word? You need to be aware of the position the other person is in and kind of meet them halfway. And until that happens, this is not going to happen. It just isn't. Not the good guys. Now you're right. It isn't. It isn't. And so, guys, so in short, I would say, is what a dating coach or whoever your female friend, anyone giving you advice on this, is it feasible or is it delusional? And is it myopic? Is it only focused on one party, or does it say, well, there's another party, there's another participant in this exchange, and their situation must be accounted for too? And if it's not, well, first you hop over the moat of lava, and then you dodge the swinging axes, and then there's a dragon. No, it's a blue dragon. Don't worry, it's kind of, and then you hop over the goblins, and then you got to fight a barbarian, and oh, look out, the snow wizard, and there she is eating her grapes. No, no, goodbye. I'll have another whiskey. Thank you very much. So there it is. All right, real quick for the super chats. Then Cappy got to go get dinner. Cappy got to get din. Boom, done. All right. See you guys later, Toodles.